Call us back into open meeting, into open session, and I would enter, before we do so, if you would all rise and join me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I love this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Davos?
Yes.
Pastor Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrader?
Yes.
Mrs. Holleran?
Yes.
And Dr. Ashton?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. That brings us to public comments.
We have two this evening, and we have a DHS senior that's gonna start us off named Lainey Fairman. Okay, yeah, this right over there.
Hi, my name is Lainey Fairman. I'm a senior at Danville High School. I've come to talk to you because I believe that as people around the community work to better Danville, a place we could start would be the comfort of our students at Danville High School Public Schools. As you know, the dress code was last updated when we switched from the uniform standard of dress to the current standard of dress. The current rule for shirts, skirts, and dresses is that they should be an inch below the fingertips. This rule is not applicable to all body types, as some people have longer arms than others or vice versa. After looking around at other school districts such as Bismarck, Oakwood, Urbana, and Salt Fork, it's become clear to me that we are behind the times of modifying our dress code. Districts such as those listed have changed their length rules to either first knuckles or at fingertips, and rips are allowed from mid-thigh and below in jeans. In addition, they've also modified their sleeve requirements to an inch to inch and a half minimum. I think these modifications would be a great addition to our standard of dress. In addition to making our students able to find items of clothing to fit the dress code, these modifications would allow our students to be happier and have a better learning experience when not being taken out of classes due to dress code violations. In a January 2021 study by the University of Illinois, published in the International Journal of Education, Policy, and Leadership, it is stated that they found that dress codes support rape culture and sexist behavior. On weekly phone calls home to every DHS student when talking about dress code, it is only females referred to by administration. I've had many male classmates tell me that they've never been dress coded, even when wearing things known to be out of dress code. In my time at DHS, I've been dress coded approximately 10 times, even when I have been in dress code. I work hard in my classes, do many extracurriculars, and even go as far as tutor other students, yet I have been removed from a test and sent to the refocus room because of dress code. If you didn't know, refocus is comparable to in-school suspension. As you can tell, I am 6 foot tall. It is near impossible to find shorts that are affordable, comfortable, semi-stylish, and go 1 inch below my fingertips. Being a high schooler is a time in everyone's life where your self-confidence is building. I believe that we as a district should work together with board members, staff, and students to ensure we combat the rising mental health issues in teenagers and provide a space where students can wear semi-up-to-trend clothing and not worry about what other people are saying about their clothes. In addition, it is physically sickening to sit in the heat of DHS when the air conditioning was only recently turned on. Some classes are still not producing cold air, yet we are expected to be sitting in there in long pants. I think we can all agree that we want the optimum learning experience for all students, and I hope you take what I said into consideration. D119 preaches family in the district, and we cannot achieve that without listening to each other. In conclusion, I believe that the following modifications would be a great way to work toward a more comfortable and successful learning environment. Short skirts and dresses can be fist knuckle, first knuckle, or fingertip length. Straps must be 1 inch to 1.5 inch wide, and jeans are allowed rips from mid-thigh down. I thank you for allowing me this time, and I hope to see a positive change in the near future. Thank you.
And our second one for the evening is Miss Brenda Brown.
Good evening to our superintendent, Dr. Geddes, and to the entire school board members. Thank you for allowing me just these few moments. I serve as alderman for the city of Danville, and I would like to just congratulate the administration, the staff, and this board and Dr. Geddes for being in compliance with the State Board of Education by having our children mask up. It is very important that our children stay healthy, healthy bodies, healthy minds, and it makes your job a little easier, those that teach. So again, I just want to congratulate you on that, and I'm proud to be a part of this city of Danville. That's why I serve here. And if at any time I can be of any service, please call on me. Again, congratulations for staying in compliance and keeping our children safe.
I think you have one more, Ms. Hackett.
It's okay if I take this off right here, right? Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Geddes, Board. Doris Hightower, President of the Danville Education Association. I come before you tonight for a few reasons, primarily surrounding item number 10 on the agenda. Most of the questions I have are for Mr. Dobbles, and perhaps Mr. Henderson could also explain his role in the situation we have before us. All summer long, I have endured members of the DEA texting, emailing, and Facebooking falsehoods propagated by the two of you. The union I represent as president has had its own members create a petition to decertify due to your lies. You have misrepresented the Board of Education in your own futile efforts to undermine what the majority of the DEA has already ratified. Mr. Dobbles, I asked you on July 21st why you didn't bargain with the DEA when you were president of the Board of Education. You have yet to answer my question. You had the stage, but you choose now to act. Another question I had was, why did you say no to the original DEA offer of $2,500? You said, absolutely not, is what I'm told. So my main question is why? Why all of this nonsense? I have stated repeatedly that I do not bargain in public. If you want to bargain publicly, do it the right way. There's a format for opening up negotiations to the public. I'm not against it. I have nothing to hide. I do things the right way. I'm not going to be bullied by you or anyone else to change how I operate. You and David Coker can sit and plan at Buffalo Wild Wings all you want. The fact does not change that neither of you are in charge. I work for all of the DEA. In a last-ditch effort to further your failing agenda, the district was bombarded again with emails of falsehood. I have worked all summer long to fix the secretary's schedule. I have informed the DEA that there was a mistake and have been working with my team to correct it. The DEA negotiations team has worked tirelessly to ensure that everyone was treated equally. So why are you now pushing an agenda that you said no to in the first place? Is it because it was my idea, not yours? I've been asked to stop pointing fingers and blaming others, yet that is all that has happened to me all summer long. You have attempted to turn the members I serve against me, yet you again have failed. My members know that I only work in their best interest. You may have fooled a few, but the majority know the truth. I have not worked against the betterment of the majority. They just aren't aware of what I've been doing because I don't bargain or negotiate in public. However, tomorrow, they will be notified of a counter-proposal offered by the appointed negotiations team of the Board of Education. I stated the last time I was before you that when those in authority to bargain with the DA brought forth a proposal, my team would look at it and we would not turn down any money. And I won't. Unlike item 10, the proposal I have will ensure everyone sees an increase. Certified staff, you have been heard. Secretaries and LRCs, it was not an intentional slight against you with how the current ratified agreement came down. It was an honest oversight that once noticed, we began fixing. Teaching assistants. Mr. Dobbs' new proposal leaves you where you're at with the current ratified contract. But the proposal I have will give you more money. Flat salaried staff. The proposal I've been given includes you. If you look online and you go through 1 through 6, Nowhere does it mention the flat salaries getting any money. I have never wavered from making sure each member of the bargaining unit is compensated fairly, and I will not begin now. I hope this is the last time I have to stand before this board to deal with this nonsense. Mr. Dobbles, stop meddling in the affairs of the union. It is not part of your job. That is not the reason people elected you. Dr. Ashton, I look forward to having our two teams meet to discuss the proposal you have brought forth. I am sure the members of the DA will appreciate that you and your team took the time to negotiate in good faith to bring us a little bit more money. And I appreciate that. But I'm done with this nonsense.
Any more comments? Thank you, student. That was awesome. Well done on your presentation. That was appreciated. You did a really good job. I might hire you as my speaker. That was really good. Okay, that brings us to item number 6, curriculum. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. President, Dr. Geddes, and the board. I'm really excited, I'm always really excited, and we know that, to bring to you tonight 3 adjustments to the curriculum at Southview. And we have the Southview administration here that are happy to kind of confirm what I'm going to tell you. But basically, we needed to make some adjustments. Ms. Prunkert and I noticed it last year, that we needed to make some adjustments because they started doing their schedule a little bit different at Southview than we had in the past, and the length of time that the kids were taking the elective classes increased. So that means that we have to redo the curriculum. And in some cases, the standards were updated a little bit, so we wanted to make sure everything was aligned. So you have 3 curriculum documents that were provided to you. One was color-coded. Of course, that was the art teacher, so that made me very excited. And so we have an art, we had Project Lead the Way, which is great because we started that at 5th and 6th, then we have it at 7th and 8th and 9th through 12. And we have one of our High School Lead the Way teachers here, so he's happy probably that we're starting all the way in 5th and 6th. And then, did I say them all? Yeah. Art, music, and Project Lead the Way. So we would just like to consider for a first reading these documents. And they were written by the teachers too.
Well,
That's first reading. Are we supposed to vote on
It's a first read.
no, just for first reading. Well, we look forward to these programs. I think they'll be awesome. So,
it? You look good, Mrs. Patton.
And we'll have probably, I think, 3 more in December for you. Those were brand new teachers, so we've been working with them. And they're very excited about doing this work, which makes me really happy. So I'm excited about those 2. So our electives at Southview will all have brand new curriculum by the end of this fiscal year.
Yep, I
Thank you.
like the way it was set up, and it went right on through the scope and sequence. It looked good.
Thank you. They did a great job.
okay, if no further questions, that brings us to item number 7. An insurance recommendation. Come forth and recommend. Is it gonna cost us money?
Absolutely.
He knows already.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Geddes, Danville 118 family. I am Narcissus Rankin, Director of Business and Finance. I am requesting today that the board renew the commercial property and liability insurance with Liberty Mutual Insurance and Northfield Insurance Company for a total of $281,433. This is an increase of approximately $42,000 from last year. And this is largely due to, so you do an appraisal every 4 to 5 years. We had our buildings appraised. The appraisal value has increased approximately 20%. And so that is largely due to the reason for the increase. We have continued to have a good working relationship with both insurance companies, and I am asking today that we renew for the 2022 fiscal year.
Are the increases because of?
Can we get a motion?
I move approval.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, now, questions?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm saying old people, it would leave. Is the increase basically because of upkeep and new?
So the appraisal value is actually, it's based off of your square footage, and there's kind of like inflation. So
Okay.
it's comparative to the value of buildings within the area.
Okay.
So I do need to add a caveat to this because we have been notified by the broker that while we are going to hopefully accept this renewal, they have issued like a caveat. They are asking for some additional questions, some information. The attorney is providing it, so they have said that it is still contingent upon. So we have to do it because we have
We
to
need it.
keep moving. But they have left themselves an out. I want to make the board aware of it based on the information that we've had to provide. Okay?
I hope we approve this. Okay, any further questions? The motion is for approval of Liberty Mutual Insurance for the value of $281,430, right?
433, yes, sir.
Yeah. Seeing no further questions, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Halloran?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Mrs. Carey?
Ms. Carey?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Mr. Dowles?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrader?
Yes.
Pastor Miller?
Yes.
Dr. Ashton?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate that. That brings us to item number 8, food service, produce. My daughter works for a produce company, but that's not the one we're working with tonight, so I can vote.
Good evening, Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Geddes. My name is Zetta Pujol. I am the Director of Food Service. I'm here tonight to make a recommendation to accept 2 bids for the 2021-22 school year. The first is for produce. It's the same company for $75,000. And for the dairy from Prairie Farms for $270,000.
Do you want to, should we just do
One at a
these
time?
individually? Let's do these individually. So your first recommendation is for the produce
Yes,
and for the value of, how much was that again?
$75,000.
And the company was?
The company is now Central Illinois Produce.
I move approval.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. And I have a second?
Yes.
Any questions or comments?
Just one. So it's not, the bid wasn't 75,000, was it, or was it up to 75,000?
The bid was up to $75,000.
Up to 75,000.
Yes.
So okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry.
Yeah. Approximately. Okay, seeing no further one, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Halloran?
Yes.
Pastor Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Dowles?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrader?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes. Almost there.
Yes. 7-0.
Oh, yeah, you.
Yeah.
Dr.
6
Ashton.
and counting.
I got thrown off. Miss Carey, make
I told you we don't talk anymore.
I know, I'm sorry. We'll get it right.
Didn't know you would take it seriously. Motion passes 7-0. That brings us to the dairy bid.
Yes, sir.
I move approval that we accept the dairy bid not to exceed $270,000.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Schrader?
Yes.
Mr. Dowles?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Halloran,
Yes.
Mrs. Carey,
Yes.
Pastor Miller,
Yes.
and Dr. Ashton.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Motion passes 7-0. And what about fruit? And
The
vegetables?
last item, there's a program sponsored by the federal government called the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program. They just opened the grant application process where there is fruit and vegetable available to students from pre-K to 8th grade, where they have the opportunity to obtain exposure to new and exotic types of fruit provided by the state, from the federal government through the state at no cost to the district. And I just wanted to make mention of it. I think it would be a wonderful way to add additional snacks or supplements for the students throughout the school day. And once again, it's only up through 8th grade. It's different from the DOD program, and with the DOD, it's a Buy American with the fresh fruit and vegetable, because pineapples, bananas, edible flowers, you name it. We can try it from other places, so I wanted the opportunity to bring it here for the students.
We had a fruit and vegetable grant through the state. It's probably been 8 years ago at Northeast. Is it a similar program? Is it the same program? Do we have any idea? And I know you weren't here, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, is this something new, Dr. Geddes,
So no,
that's out here, or?
this is actually not new. This is actually from my former life. Zed and I have been doing this for a while, and I can tell you that kiwis don't work well. They throw them all over the place from past experience. So this program is very old. It's just here in Danville, District 118, we were not taking advantage of it. We were actually doing something very different, but we were not taking advantage of this program.
Okay, because initially, I know my wife was involved with that and was in charge of getting the food and purchasing, and that was all at Northeast, and the kids did like kiwi, by the way.
Doesn't work well when you get older.
Anyway,
Is it
they
free?
did. Yeah, it was free.
Oh.
I mean, it was a grant program, but I just wondered if it was the same one that we had, and it may have been 10 years ago when Northeast first started.
So actually, Ms. Henderson would go and purchase, remember, because she had an account there?
Well, this was before you, though, Dr.
Okay,
Geddes.
well, I'm just saying, there was one where she would go and purchase, that was still in effect when I was here, when I was
Right,
here.
yeah.
So that one was similar to this one.
Okay.
So I don't know what you had prior to that. That was similar, but still not the same.
So this actually comes from the food comes from the government then on this? Okay, because we were allocated money from the state, and then we got reimbursed from the state, and we did our own shopping. So it's a little different then.
I like you gave us star fruit, strawberry, then tangelos. Yeah, just like a little teaser, like a little info there. And I'm going, good luck with the star fruit. I'll see how they like that. But that's interesting and kind of exciting to see what will get used and eaten or tried.
And it's a good thing.
Exposure. That's
Yeah,
the goal.
and you're right there
Exposure.
because you never know if you never tried it. And tangelos are awesome.
Okay.
So I recommend everybody give it a try. Like your mom used to say, just try it once. I did once. So okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much. Good
You're
luck.
welcome. Thank
Keep
you.
us eating. Thank you very much. Brings us to item number 9, technology. Storage area network. SAN.
Yes. I can use the acronyms, but I'm not going to. Good evening, Dr. Geddes, Board. Annette Hummel, Director of Technology. I'm here tonight to recommend the upgrade of our current storage area network server. Our current one was purchased about 5 or 6 years ago and has reached its end of life. We are noticing small little glitches in it, and so it is time. The district uses this for users' data storage, programs that we use that are on virtual machines that this server runs on. We're going to move to a scale solution, which we've checked with districts around the area that have approved it. DAC actually uses this scale solution as well. So the quote that we got from Red 7 is for $163, $163,000, $848.50.
It's the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is approved completely through ESER2. Thank you, Kelly. So I'm, with that, I'm asking for approval for this project.
So your approval for this storage area, network, whatever, $163,848.50. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. I have any questions or
Questions?
comments?
What do you think the delivery date will be?
Hopefully, hopefully soon. We are starting to finally get equipment from previous projects that I have brought to you. The chips are finally starting to get
Really?
put into the machines, and we're starting to see the equipment come in, so we're hoping that this is going to be a project that will be soon.
And will we do the installation ourselves, or will that have to be contracted out?
Red 7 will do the contract.
They'll do the
Yeah.
installation?
Yep,
The company, okay.
yep.
That's awesome.
Any other questions?
And this will hold us for about how long?
At least another 5 to 6 years.
5 or 6 years, and then we'll, readdress this issue.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you. Any
All right.
other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Halloran?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrader?
Yes.
Mr. Dobbles?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Pastor Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
And Dr. Ashton?
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
That brings us to item number 10. Mr. Dobbles and Mr. Henderson's potential amendment to the agreement. So I will hand that over to you.
Yes, I'll speak. I want to thank you, Dr. Ashton, for placing this on the agenda. When we had negotiations and we've ratified a contract, and we did it very quickly. It took about a month. And there were many good things in this contract. And, but as we look at it, sometimes after you do a contract, usually they take, 6 months or so. But when you do them, sometimes you find out some glitches, some unintended consequences. So when we look at this one, and it is ratified, we can, what I'm asking today is that the board come with a proposal to the DEA, and they can either agree with that or not if the board approves it today to make that recommendation. In this contract, one of the good things that happened was that the teaching assistants received a salary increase which was probably the best in the history of the DEA, which seems very good because they are some of our lowest paid employees in the DEA. Also, secretaries got a very nice raise, and the highest paid teachers, certified staff, also got probably the best raise this century, probably back until when Dr. Fields was superintendent. Couple of the glitches. One would be that when we were looking at the salary schedules and what were changed, and the salary schedules that I've proposed, that Mr. Anderson and I have proposed, are attached. We didn't raise the starting salary in any of the, for either the secretaries' LRCs, the teachers, or the teaching assistants. And we could do that without costing very much money, and it would be helpful in recruiting new staff. So that currently, teaching assistants make less than $17,000 a year. And with the proposal that's out there, and I think it's just a glitch because I think even Ms. Hightower said something about it, the starting salary for teaching assistants would remain at less than $17,000, the starting salary. And without changing the rest of the salary schedule, we can adjust the starting salary. And so in the proposal that Mr. Anderson and I have put forth, the starting salary would increase to $19,405 in 2 years. And that seems like something pretty good. For secretaries, as Ms. Hightower mentioned, there was a glitch in that as long as the secretaries have been in the Danville Education Association, there's been a daily rate depending on your years of experience. And the daily rate is the same whether you work 180 days or 195 or up to 237. Unfortunately, with the current proposal that's been ratified, the current contract that's been ratified, the daily rate decreases with the number of days a person works. And I think that's, as Ms. Hightower said, that hopefully is being addressed. And the salary schedule that I put forward with Mr. Anderson corrects that so that the daily rate is the same for whether you work 180 days or 237. The main concern that I've seen and has been brought to me, I haven't, like the secretary, the concern with the secretary salary schedule, that was brought to us by secretaries. Somebody brought me that. I didn't see it in the first time looking through the contract, but I did notice that for certified staff, teachers, social workers, psychologists, SLPs, all certified staff. Where other groups got a really high raise, and a really good raise, I think when the board was talking about it, the board also thought that they wanted all groups to get a good raise. Why? Because we've just dealt with a year and a half of the pandemic, and things seem to be struggling now also. And we really appreciate everything that our employees have done to work through this. Pastor Miller keeps mentioning how proud he's been of our staff and how, although our staff, they're not healthcare workers, when you come and work in person, then you are putting yourself at risk. And our staff has gone through that and has done everything they can to help our students learn. Unfortunately, one of the glitches, and I don't think it was intentional, I think in fact, Ms. Hightower said that she's looking at that. One of the glitches is that certified staff get less of an increase over the 2 years than they got with the past contract. In fact, their money, the actual dollars, is 38% less than their raise from before. Their second year of their contract is probably the lowest raise for teachers, for certified staff in the past 10 years. So when I've talked to board members and heard from employees in the district, there was a request, that, that we do something about that. Sometimes there's confusion. I think when the board ratified the contract, I don't think the board was aware of the actual percentages and the dollar amounts. We also have heard from many teachers that they thought they were getting their step in addition to their raise. Step being the increment they get for their years of experience. So what I would propose, would ask the board, because when a contract is ratified, there's language in the contract that says if there was something left out, if there's a glitch or something, the contract can be amended. It is 1.4B. In order to amend the contract, any amendments have to be approved by the board and the DEA. In what I'm proposing today, I'm not asking that the DEA agree to this amendment. I'm asking that the board present to the DEA a proposal to amend the contract and see what they would say about it. And this is the proposal. With this proposal, no employee will lose any benefits or salary that was ratified in the current contract. The TA and Secretary LRC beginning salary would be increased, as I've mentioned before. The Secretary salary schedule would be modified so that the daily rate is the same no matter how many days are worked. And the teacher salary schedule would be changed so that teachers would not only get their raise, but also get their increment step advancement for each year. That's the proposal that I would make, and I would move that that be approved by the board.
And I second that. And may I have a comment, Dr. Ashton?
You may, do.
I voted against the contract at the June meeting. I voted against it primarily because I was concerned about the fact that we were going to lose our opportunity to recruit quality staff would be diminished by not raising the base for 2 years. I voted against it because I was concerned regarding the teaching assistants, the fact that we worked hard to raise the salary for our teaching assistants, but we did not raise the salary again to encourage others to come and work for us because, again, the base salary was still the same. The proposal that we have before us, I believe, meets the needs that I felt this district and our board has had as far as recruiting. I think it expresses our desire to reward our staff for an outrageous year that they had to deal with last year. I think, praise is one thing, but, we need to make certain that we have dollars in people's pockets to be able to pay the bills. And we've already seen this year, I believe I heard just recently, we've had a 5% increase in the cost of living already this year. Costs are going up. And I think that this is a good proposal that I think we should take to the DEA and be able to talk about.
Mr. President, I'm making a motion to move this question to the table. That is to table this motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for tabling this, which is a non-debatable issue. So I'm going to go right to a vote. So This requires,
Question before it's done.
yes, you may.
Do you mean tabling it? Because I think that would refer to bringing it back later on in this meeting, or you mean postpone a vote on it to another meeting, or possibly not ever?
What I mean is tabling the motion, and then that would table it until the next meeting, which would require a majority vote in order to take the motion off the table.
So it must be addressed at the next meeting, though.
Mm-mm.
There's
There's
no
a vote
discussion.
on the floor.
Sorry.
Okay. So, roll call vote, please. And this is for, so everybody knows, the motion on is to table this motion, okay? Not a postponement. Postponement is a different deal. This is for to table this motion. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Henderson?
No.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dobbles?
No.
Pastor Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrader?
Yes.
Mrs. Halloran?
Yes.
Dr. Ashton?
Yes. Motion passes 5-2. Thank you. So, the motion is tabled, takes a majority, simple majority to do. That brings us to item number 11, informational items.
And can I do comments, like, we can wrap it up? I know.
Okay?
Okay, so mine will be brief. I just wanted to say to the staff, parents, students, thank you for hanging in there with us. This week has been rough. We have had busing issues. The bus garage, and we're short drivers. They're having to double up. It's not going well. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Food service, we've had issues. Our suppliers could not meet the demand. They are short of produce, and poor Zetta had to drive to Champaign just to get the tortilla shells to make them. So it's been rough. We've been short, and things have gone bad and come bad. And then technology, it's been rough. We don't have all the laptops in. Our supply chain is broken. Our kids, have a number of them on remote or not remote, ISB, but at home. Then we've had electrical issues. I lost all the power in my T-wing. And then I've had HVA air conditioning issues. Southwest was hot and freezing at the same time. The high school. Then I've had staffing issues. I have people out for COVID. I've had And then we've had COVID. And so I just come to you humbly as I can just say thank you for hanging there with us. Trust me, I know a lot of you are on the edge. I just ask you to come back on this side of the fence with me. I appreciate you hanging in there. It has been rough. And parents, staff, we're just asking for a little bit of grace. We are really, really trying more than you would ever know. This one has been rough. And I just want to say thank you, guys. That's it.
Good luck. Start down at the end.
Sure. First of all, Vikings, let's play football on Friday night, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go Vikings. It has been rough, Dr. Geddes, and one group that has been especially impacted are our nurses. And I just want to give a shout out to our nurses for all of the efforts that they are doing in respect to taking care of compliance, taking care of COVID, taking care of day-to-day situations with boys and girls. And, Mrs. Greenlee, Danielle Montgomery, I believe is her name now, as our head nurse and her staff. I just want to send out a shout out to all of you. And to the teachers, it's been a hot week. And, hot temperature-wise, air conditioning or not, it's hot in those buildings. And custodians, you're all doing hey, well, Mr. Hightower, how are you there? Another Mr. Hightower. But, staff, you're doing a great job. Boys and girls are being taken care of, and that's important. So thank you.
I would just like to thank Mr. Hart. No, that's a thank you. But what I'd like to thank is, again, the staff. But one of the things I did talk to Dr. Geddes about this week, and this is something that I think parents and pre-K parents need to know, is that we had a situation where trying to get my twins, not my twins, but my daughter's twins, situated for pre-K, that we ran into some issues at the doctor's office. And I know that all of us don't know all the questions to ask. And I, again, Mr. Henderson, do thank the nurses for working with us, because we didn't know some things, and we realized that there's something that's required here in Danville that's not required in Champaign. But our medical facilities are based, a lot of them, out of Champaign. So therefore, we were given information that didn't quite jive, but it has worked out. And the joke on Mr. Hart was that, he was the big bad wolf. And when they said his name, I said, oh, well, I know him. I can just call him. So, but it has worked out, but we do run into these things. And all I'm saying to parents is just be patient. Some things aren't the building's fault. Some things aren't the people sitting there you're looking at's fault. Some things are even mystery to them. But I will say that they work with us to get these things solved, and I appreciate it. Southwest, I appreciate you. The nurse at Southwest, I appreciate you. I want you to know. When I walked in there, she had a smile on her face. The teachers had a smile on their face for the questions we had to ask. And, that helps. That really helps. And it helps with the parents that don't know, that's coming in. So thank you for all that you do.
I also wanted to say thank you to Lainey Fairman. I know she stepped out, but she was our student who spoke, our senior today. She did a wonderful job, I thought, in conveying some complicated issues, and the fact that she's 6 foot tall certainly helped us to see what was going on for her personally with the uniform standard of dress. So thank you, Lainey. And to the principals and teachers who are managing all of this change and constant change in the last week, and certainly Northeast has been going on. It's been going on for Northeast for quite some time now. Thank you so much for, even in the midst of all this change, making sure you're creating an environment where our students are feeling loved and on purpose, and our students know how much they matter. And even parents that are calling with questions or concerns, they know their children know how loved they are in your buildings. And so that just is over and above all of the crazy that we're experiencing, that your hearts are centered on these kids. That, I think, matters more than anything. And so thank you for that, for keeping the perspective where it needs to be. And I just want to speak to the motion that was tabled. I want to let you know that my rationale for that was that we are already working with we've already tendered the negotiating team and a counteroffer to the DEA. That is in process. So we certainly need to be working on one thing at a time. So I thought it would be highly inappropriate for us to do something else at the same time. And the other question that I had, and questions that had been brought to me by others, were the manner that this proposal came to us might have had some direct dealing between board members and union members who are not part of the negotiations team. And if that's the case, the concern would be that it may give rise to unfair labor practice claim. And so I want to make sure that we can talk to our counsel about that beforehand, and that we are in no way doing that. We don't want to step into that even accidentally. And so for the 41 teachers that messaged us today, saying that, telling us, well, there were more than that really, because they had different point of views. Thank you for giving us your feedback. We have listened to you. We are working with your union representation toward getting things taken care of for you. But I did not think that it would be appropriate for us to handle both items at the same time. So that was the rationale for the table as far as my motion.
Thank you. Mr. Bevel. Pastor?
I'd just like to just also thank Dr. Geddes and all of the staff, everyone that's doing your very best in the midst of multiple challenges this year, but yet with determination to do your best to be there for our students and for our community. So again, I will continue to pray, for our success in this district with all of these things that are before us. But again, I have no doubt that we have some of the greatest people already working to get us through all of the challenges that are before us. So again, as a board member, I'd just like to say thank you.
Mr. Sandler?
Thank you. I'd like to echo my thanks to our staff, the teachers, the nurses, the administrators for doing a yeoman's job in the midst of all these challenges. But mostly, I want to thank the kids. I've had a lot of conversations with some of the students, and they are almost blissfully unaware of all of these challenges that you all are facing. They are happy to be back. They're enthusiastic to be with their friends and be part of extracurriculars. And it's just life almost as normal with a face mask for them. And they don't seem to mind it. And I appreciate the kids just being so great, rolling with the punches. So mostly, I just want to say thank you, DHS students. You do my heart good.
Finally, I want to thank you all for showing up this evening. We certainly appreciate it. I want to thank the DEA and Mr. Hightower. Thank you, and team, okay? Thank you all for working with us and persevering with us. We all kind of share a similar goal, okay? There's a little strife going on here, I'll just say kindly, but we do have the best interest. I think everybody has the best interest of the district here, the DEA, the board, the administration, okay? It just sometimes doesn't play out that way. But when it all is said and done, hopefully, we'll see how this all worked out. It should work out to everybody's benefit, and hopefully we'll get things smooth sailing again, which was what I'm looking for. And I wanted to just not keep us any longer than what we have to, but I did want to say that I really am enjoying the first few days in school, because I hardly ever look on Facebook. So my wife always shows me things. She goes, look at this. She goes, look at the second grade here. And what I'm seeing is how happy, first of all, the teachers are to have kids in a class. Okay, and you show us the pictures of your empty classroom all just set up and everything, and how happy you are, and then pictures with the kids in there and how happy they are. And so I'm going, this is such a big difference in 1 year. Now you see why we're trying to get back in school. Just that we're back in school. Yes. Yes, we know that there are unbelievable challenges to keep us there. That's why we all really need to work together. Because we're seeing it across the state. We're not the only ones. Everybody is being inundated by this. But let's all try and stay there, because once we're here, we want to stay there. So I kudos to you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, DEA. Thank you, board members and administration. You're really awesome. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.